welcome back to the channel. We're back with this Mercedes C350E. You will know if you've watched my other videos where I talk about this car a lot, and the error message is yes, it's finally happened to us. After 4 or 5 years of ownership, the 12-volt battery on this car has given up. We're starting to get the warning. We're here today to pop that in. Somehow it goes in there. Let's see how we get on. You've got to get this little plastic tray under here out first. There's a couple of clips which just pop up using a trim removal tool. There's 3, but I've only got 2, and that should just come away. It should come away like that. And this one. Before we get started, let's talk about what we're looking at. Obviously this is a 12 volt. We're going to pop the negative off here. There's a lot of gubbins here, pump stuff, a lot of orange high voltage wires. Stay away from them, but you'll see this frame here is locked in and it attaches to this thing, and this is what needs to be loosened off to wiggle this black battery out. There is just a normal bit of metal there securing the battery in, but our goal is to pop this off, undo the bolts regarding this frame, and hopefully we should have a bit of luck. Get to this frame, we're going to remove this silver trim. Now I just pulled this accidentally, which like I was just trying to get to this nut here and pulled it, and it is on poppers, you can see here. Now most of them have remained intact apart from one over there, but I've got spares, so that's okay. So that, get rid of that. It is. Whenever you're doing jobs like this on your car, it makes sense to go on Amazon and get yourself one of these trim part kits. It just comes with all the little bits and pieces that you might need, because these clips are just break for fun and it's so annoying when you put it. Just before we go back to the 12 volt battery, I just want to show you quickly a future video that's coming on the auxiliary battery. So the whole purpose of me replacing my 12 volt was because I had the red 12 volt error. This led me down a path of fixes, one of which included the auxiliary battery in the passenger footwell. That is coming in a subsequent video. Further detection led me down the path of exposing the wheel arch liner on the front right wheel to have a look at the PTC heater. This was all in relation to common error codes that I was getting through my code reader and likely fixes. I have not managed to replace the PTC heater. There is a high voltage piece connecting it, so it's a bit dodgy. But if you like or want to know more about these things, make sure you subscribe to the channel and look out for future videos. So you'll notice a lot of the bolts are Torx head ones, but you can use a normal spanner on them. There are a couple of little bolts in this centerpiece that you need to remove, and then there's this big bolt with a nut on the end. Mine was really hard to shift. You can see me struggling somewhat here with my ratchet screwdriver. Eventually, with a bit of pressure, it will undo and you can loosen that off. So keep going, pull that long bolt out. Right, over, this is on the left hand side now. There are 2, I think they're 10mm Torx bolts holding the frame on. So if you imagine that the frame is a V shape, there you go, one's come out, it looks like that. There's another one in there, which is, they're pretty hard to get to be honest. You've really got to kind of fiddle to get to them. So much so that I ended up removing the interior trim here, or pulling the interior trim away, and inside there is a foam compartment or piece that holds the eye for the towing eye and your little compressor tool and fluid for filling up your tires. So I just leveraged the side trim away and managed to pull that foam insert out. What that enables is slightly better access. You can see now, get my arm around on that second bolt, that 10mm Torx, which is a bit further on, and you need to get your hand in under there and loosen and remove that 10mm bolt. It is pretty tricky. Persevere, there you go, it's come. Right, this is the same process again on the other side. It's a bit easier because you've got like that little access panel on the left. So again, imagine that metal bar is a V as you're looking in the boot, and this is the top right end of that V. those two bolts there that you need to remove, 10mm Torx again. So get your hand in, pretty tricky, but eventually they will come out. You'll have a bit of success, hopefully. There you go, that one is out. Hooray. Right, now this is interesting because this middle frame piece, this center piece, is bolted onto the back of the bumper. Now you'll see that the bolts that go through, the ones I'm doing now with this big wrench, again they're pretty tight to start with. Actually, you don't want to loosen them off completely because the centerpiece frame will move. There you go, it's moving now. So you only need to loosen those bolts. If you do take them off, there's a danger, loosen those nuts. If you do take them off, there's a danger that those bolts will fall out the other side. What you do then, we're getting nearer and nearer now, so we're taking off the negative terminal on the 12-volt battery. Get rid of that. And there is the usual clamp that holds a battery in. If only it was just this. Pop that off as well, get that out of the way, dead easy. Then what you need to do, I'm using a spark plug holder and a piece of wood, is pivot that centerpiece up slightly. What that will do is give you freedom of movement for the battery. You can see me rocking it there, and once you can rock it, you can actually lift it up and twist it, turn it. You need to lift it up and rotate it. You can see my piece of wood holding. I should point out at this point there's a lot of sharp metal edges here, and I did end up cutting my hands quite a bit, so if you have got gloves it's probably a good idea to use them. Again, you can see me with the battery pivoted now, get my hand on the top and underneath it, leverage it around. They are heavy, so be careful. And then what you need to do once you can see it is get your tool on the positive terminal and disconnect that, and the battery will eventually slide out. Again, bear in mind they are heavy. Then you need to slide in the new one, and you can see there it went without me doing anything due to its weight. Make sure the vent pipe connects to the side of it. Hopefully your new battery will have the correct vent pipe. Connect the positive terminal on, if you can reach around and do that. You will need to then reattach the plastic cover for the positive terminal, and this is probably one of the trickiest parts that I found. You can see the plastic cover up there, and me assessing how I'm going to do that. So slide the battery out again. It took me a few goes, but you've got to get purchase on the battery without it sliding under and out of the way. I actually mounted it pretty much vertically, which probably didn't do it a huge amount of good. Then managed to clip the positive cover, the red plastic cover on the top, snap that into place, tap it in. And again, just you really have to make sure, because there's a lot of metal under there, you do not want that positive terminal on that battery connecting with any metal underneath there, specifically those scary 400 volt high voltage orange leads. Said it before, stay the heck away from them. And then it's just a matter of sliding it in. It is very slippy, the base of the car, but eventually you will be able to just get that battery in position and slide it in. Make sure the negative terminal is clear of the area. If you haven't done already, just pull that out of the way. There are some pumps and gubbins and bits and pieces on that side there. I didn't need to do anything with them, I just left them there. I worked around them, and eventually you'll see it slot nicely into place under there. Again, just checking, making sure that the red positive terminal plastic cover is in position, which it is. Great stuff. And then I'm attaching the clamp to the bottom, which in the old days of cars was usually the only thing that you had to remove apart from the positive and the negative. That would have been easy. So reattach your clamp using your wrench. I've got an extended wrench on there. I can't remember the exact size. It might be a 12 or 13. And at this point you're able to sort of lower or remove any of your levering of that centerpiece there. So I'm taking out the spark plug spanner tool that I'm using and the bit of wood, and I can get that centerpiece back into the position that it needs to be to lock this whole frame back into how it was before, that long bolt going back in to connect that frame to that centerpiece. It's a bit of a weird setup, this whole metal frame in the boot. I can only assume it's there securing the high voltage battery in place, but yeah, bit odd. So screw that bolt in, screw the other 2 bolts that connect that frame to the back of the car, the rear of the car, tighten them up, pop your negative on. The 2 bolts, the Torx bolts at the top of the V on either side, you need to get them back on. Obviously re-establish all your trim, put that silver trim on the back, get that done. And then probably one of the most important things is worth getting yourself a decent code reader. Search Amazon for Mercedes BMS reset, battery management system. You need to tell the car that it's got a new battery, otherwise there's a risk that it will overcharge the new battery. So make sure you've got a decent diagnostic tool to do that, or get someone to do it for you. Situational update, and it's not a good one. I had hoped that replacing the battery, I've done the BMS reset and I thought that would clear the error, but it didn't. And I've been for a drive and I've stopped at the Tesco's around the corner from where I live, and now it won't go back into drive at all. I'm stuck. Roughly going to wrap this video up there, but know that replacing the 12-volt battery made things better on my car, but did not fix the issues that I had and still have actually at the time of publishing this video, which is various and related to the high voltage insulation error message. So I did the 12-volt battery as a first course of action. I mentioned this earlier in the video. I'm going to look more closely at the PTC heater, which I think is probably at fault. But before I did that, I also looked and actually replaced the auxiliary battery, which is unique to the C350E hybrid model. So if you want to know how to replace that, stay tuned, subscribe, and you'll see that video coming up. But for now though, hopefully that helps. Hopefully if you need a new 12-volt battery, and most C350Es are coming up to that time where they probably do, then you know how to do it yourself. So hopefully save you some money. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. You're just watching a video here of the problems that I'm having trying to start my car, which incidentally, if you leave it for a period of time, the ECU resets, and you can do. Anyway, there we go. Close it off. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Cheers.